Jeff Turner here, and I'm here to talk about, in this certain video, West Ham United FC. Now, as you may know, all you West Ham supporters out there, we are in fucking trouble. It really, really is a dire situation. And especially for the last 10 years, we've had the lifeblood fucking sucked out of us. Now, I'm here to put the blame on the doorstep of fucking two people, David Sullivan and Karen Brady. Now, you may ask, what am I doing this for? Well, we're going to have to act to try and get these people out. And I'm telling you, the way to do it is sign a petition to get Sullivan and Brady out of this club. Now, you might say, oh, what's the petition do? It might be small. Well, I'm telling you that the small things can grow. And this may be the catalyst that sparks the revolution. I'm old school, but I'm appealing not just to the old school, but to the new school of, well, get away to this fucking along with this way of thinking, sign this petition, and together we may be able to do something. We love you, West Ham. Come on, you Irons. Do it.
Does that make you need a wee, that intro, Paul? That tea pouring?
I don't drink tea, mate.
No, you don't? You don't? No. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Claret and Booze. My name's Nick, and this is not a daily ramble. This is a bit of an ad hoc show with Paul Coburn, otherwise known as Bubbles, a.k.a. Bubbles, from Hammers United. And we're going to talk a little bit of West Ham initially, and then we're going to go on to talk about the protest and the petition and some other bits and pieces as well. Paul, how are you, mate?
No, I'm good. I said last night, until Sullivan went, I'd wear the football shirt.
Yep.
I have got it on, but I'm fucking freezing, so I put a jacket on. But there you go. There you go. It's busy times.
Stick the heating on. Stick the heating on. We have.
I'm too mean, mate.
Yeah.
Too mean. Yeah.
Oh, dear. Well, I'll tell you what. We'll go straight into the main talking point at the moment, because look, we know that we've got, actually, do you know something? I'm going to say something, right? This isn't a political channel. This ain't politics. This ain't left. This ain't right. This ain't none of that business at all. On the theme of petitions, people, okay? I'm not going to go into talking about it, but the government are about to announce tomorrow, so it is being reported in the news, that they're going to make digital IDs compulsory for all UK adults. This has all been part of a master plan. Go and read up on it. Go and have a look at the foundations that are being laid, and go and have a look at the Chinese model, if that's what you want. That petition you will find in the comments of this video, in the description. Go and sign it, please. We don't want that. We don't. So, yeah, that's all we'll say about it. But I'll move on. I'll move swiftly on to West Ham. So, the managerial front, somehow, Paul, Graham Potter is still here. The rumours are that David Sullivan and Karen Brady have all decided that he's got to go, as of the rest of the board members. But the general consensus within the board is that they cannot sack him until they have a replacement for him. Now, there is, as you can understand, some political problems upstairs, because Sullivan has lost credibility after appointing Lopetegui, and then Brady's lost credibility after recommending Potter. And apparently Kretinsky is sticking his oar in now, which, so they're saying anyway. I mean, don't forget, these stories are coming from the usual West Ham sources that get these things from normally Brady and Sullivan. It's normally where they come from. I don't think Kretinsky talks to Claret and Hugh, right? So to me, this is where that's coming from, which, again, it's very convenient. You know, it's almost blaming Kretinsky for the bottleneck at the moment. But let's just ponder on that for a minute. I hope this is the case, that Kretinsky has said no to Slaven Bilic. He said no to Scott Parker. He said no to Sean Dyche. He said no to a couple of others as well. Nuno said no to us, apparently. Nuno's not interested. Okay. He probably wants a little bit of time off, making money out of his contract from Nottingham Forest before he goes back into work again. And the manager that Kretinsky apparently favours is a manager that we were very close to getting before we won the Conference Cup. He was lined up apparently, and that's Marco Silva from Fulham. Now, Marco Silva's contract does expire at the end of this season, and there is around about an 8 million or a 9 million pound release clause. That's who Kretinsky wants, but apparently Brady and Sullivan, they're pushing back, saying we don't want to pay a release clause.
Can I come in on that? Then, mate?
Yeah,
Look, firstly, most of the fans want Potter gone.
yeah,
And I think that's probably about right. But the man hasn't been backed. He inherited an ageing, a poor, and unbalanced squad.
yeah,
Everyone knew, and this was the catalyst for these protests. Everyone knew we need a massive, massive spend this summer. We were the 12th highest spend with about 48 million net.
yeah,
Where we've ended up, I won't go into too much detail, but we all know this. We've got a crap goalkeeper, two goalkeepers. I won't use the word crap. Two goalkeepers that probably aren't really up to the standard required. We haven't got centre halves up to the standard required.
no,
We've got two strikers. Well, the other week, Tottenham had Solanke, who was sick, and Richarlison come off the bench.
yeah,
We've got the German fella and Callum Wilson, none deemed fit enough to do a full match. So I would argue our goalkeepers probably aren't Premiership standard, our centre halves aren't, and nor our strikers. Now, probably without any of them, you might go down. We ain't get any of them, right?
yeah.
Now, Mr. Sullivan, towards the end of the transfer window, reckoned he was taking over. So, as usual, everything goes back to him. But let's go into it a bit more, mate. And this is really, fits in with what you said. Normally, a well-run club, you'd be saying, right, they can get rid of the manager. I'll come back to that. Who would fit? Who would be a good manager for West Ham? Let's go out and get him. But West Ham don't do that.
Nope.
Right? West Ham look for who ain't going to cost any money. So I had a little look back. Listen to this, right?
Go on.
This is under Sullivan. Zola they inherited.
Yeah.
And they fired him. Grant they got for nothing. And they fired him. Allardyce they got for nothing.
Yeah.
And his contract weren't renewed. Bilic only cost 1.3 million to get him. And he got fired. Moyes they got for nothing. His contract wasn't renewed. Pellegrini they got for nothing. And he got fired. Moyes he got for nothing. His contract wasn't renewed. Lopetegui they got for nothing. And he got fired. And Potter they got for nothing. And he'll probably get fired. Now, how about this? Do you think this is radical? Instead of spending all the compensation when they fire everyone,
get the right man.
Why not pay it up front and get someone half decent? But I'll tell you when they'll sack him. Nick, you'll agree with me. You know when they're going to sack him, right?
Go on.
If they get a new manager in there, they're more than likely to lose at Everton. And we ain't going to beat Arsenal 2 years in a row, or is it 3 in a row? I can't, we ain't going to beat Arsenal again. So it's going to look bad on the new manager. If they wait a bit, okay,
until after the Arsenal game, are you thinking?
Yeah. Then they get the new manager in. They can give it the big, when we boycott Brentford, oh no, come on, you've got to get over there and support the new manager.
Yeah.
And that fit in well with that. Now, of course, what would be the fly in the ointment? It's possible we could win at Everton. Yeah. How about if we won at Everton and drew at Arsenal? Or if we drew both, are they still going to attack him? But that's the problem.
It could happen. It could happen as well.
Yeah. That is the thing. They won't spend, and you've just said it yourself, and we haven't spoken it, have we? You've got it from another source.
Nope.
What you're saying is that Kretinsky, he's looking forward. Let's actually get a manager that might fit the bill, might be a fit for West Ham. But no, Sullivan and Brady, they won't pay the 7 million. They want the usual formula, the tried and trusted failure formula. Get someone in because he's free, and guess what? You'll end up paying the money because you sack him anyway.
Absolutely,
laughable, mate.
Absolutely.
Laughable.
And there's another report. I mean, Claret and Hugh, again, we know who this is. Apparently, Daniel Kretinsky has no desire to inject money into West Ham under the current construct. Can understand that. Yeah. However, Kretinsky could be convinced to if other shareholders, if they were to inject money, and he would match that, because obviously that will affect his shareholding. But it's already known that
Yeah.
Sullivan will not inject funds. He won't do it. So we're a little bit stuck. And you're exactly right. I mean, Gio made a point earlier on. He done a show on Marco Silva a couple of hours ago, and he said the same thing. And we all know it. You know, if you put your top 10 managers, realistic managers, whether they're in work or out of work or whatever, you'll write down a list of managers like that Areola at Bournemouth, Silva, all these other people. It's very unlikely that the right man is going to be out of work. That's exactly what Gio said, and he's exactly right.
Yeah,
If your net is purely for unemployed managers, managers that are damaged, that are on a decline, then what do you expect to happen apart from what is happening at West Ham?
And that's Sullivan's track record. I just read it out.
Yeah.
I really believe, and some of these rumours and stories will be true, and some won't be true. I'm not saying the dam's about to burst, but there's real cracks appearing now in that
Massively.
dam. After the fan advisory board did their vote of no confidence and presented their statement to the club have come out, which I assume Brady signed off, even if she didn't write it. She had to sign it off. As we know, we won't go over it again. Their statement was fucking rubbish. I could have done better, and I was a postman.
Yeah.
And it was filled with obvious untruths, which are easily, pointed out, like the supposed net spend 3 years running of 100 million, which is about double what they actually spent. So you add that. Now you've got Sullivan's bird all over Twitter arguing with supporters, which is ludicrous. The Brentford thing, which I'm sure you've well, no, you heard the broadcast last night. They're giving tickets away for Brentford.
I know.
And now you're telling me, and it might be true and might not be true, that Kretinsky has suddenly appeared from nowhere because no one's heard him ever say nothing.
No.
And there's disagreements there. I've heard a little rumour that there might be a little bit of friction between Sullivan and Brady. I don't know if it's true or not, but there's definitely cracks appearing in that dam. And if the fan base keeps this up, that dam will break.
Yeah.
The only thing that can stop this campaign is the fan base themselves, in my view.
Absolutely. I think all the pieces are in place. This is a bit of a perfect storm now for West Ham for us to, and we was always going to end up in this situation with this ownership. We were, but if you look at the mess we're in financially, if we were to fall out of the Premier League at the moment, we would be, we'd be borderline in administration. If you look at that £200 million payday loan that he got this year, that was no doubt, because we haven't spent that money, that was no doubt brought in to cover a black hole that we had in our accounts.
Yeah.
Because we've got the IFR that are going to be coming in and looking through the book soon. So that's all that can be, because that money hasn't been invested. So what was that £200 million for?
I think if we stay in the Premier League, I think we're still in massive financial trouble.
Oh, big time.
I'm not a financial expert, but I can pick the phone up and talk to people who are. And their view, or the view of people I've spoke to, is that West Ham needs someone somewhere to stick 100 million in.
Yeah.
And it seems apparent that certainly Sullivan ain't, and Kretinsky won't if Sullivan don't, unless he gets more shares or whatever. So I think they're in trouble, mate, if they stay up financially. I mean, what ain't going to happen? What will happen is what has happened this year. If we do stay up by the skin of our teeth, well, next year the only obvious saleable asset they'll have is Bowen. And Bowen ain't going to hang about. And he's been tremendously loyal. He ain't going to hang about next year. It just ain't going to happen. So instead of selling Kudos, we'll be selling Bowen for 100 million maybe.
And probably Paquetá as well. Paquetá will go as well.
Possibly,
that's another one.
And we still won't have a balanced squad. And eventually, probably next year, we'll go down. And we might this year. And this is why Sullivan has to go.
I agree. No, look, he's got to go. He's sort of come to. I don't think there's anywhere left for him to go now. When I did a show about 6 months ago, and I called what I thought he was going to do to this squad over the summer. I called it an asset strip, and then I got corrected by someone called Simon, and he said, no. He said the asset strip's long been done. He said, in terms of our ground, if you look at the fact the training ground as well, that's mortgaged up to the hilt.
Yeah,
everything they do is just on the cheap, and we do kind of they go shopping in Waitrose with a Lidl's budget. It's like we like this manager or we like this player. You know, it's like you could imagine Sullivan going into like I don't know, he needs a new floor for the training ground. He goes, yeah, I like that solid wood herringbone floor over there. And they said, well, this is a price. And he goes, how much? All right, yeah, give us a blown vinyl. That'll do.
Yeah.
And he's just got that sort of mentality.
Yeah, that's right. Also, you know, you to put it in a sort of working man's scenario. So we all know him. So Fred comes in the pub and he's borrowed a score off you one week, and you don't get it back, and then he borrows a score off someone else, and he borrows a tenner off someone else, and then he might borrow a score off someone to give you the score back, and it's just you know, it just goes round and round. Then people won't lend you money no more, and I think that's where he's at now. You know, it's everything's on the never, never, isn't it?
And
All the time.
He shafted so many people in football as well. You know, particularly agents, and whether you like agents or you dislike agents. I mean, look, you know, they cost clubs a lot of money. Not as much as owners and managers, I might add. I mean, if you look at some of the money that gets wasted through us backing managers, you know, like when Lopetegui was here, he had to have Max Kilman, 40 million on him. And then with Potter, the current one, he had to have Hermansen, 16 million on him. I'm one of the worst keepers I've ever seen. One of the worst keepers.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the keeper is on Potter, and from what I hear, the loan of Evan Ferguson was on Potter.
Yeah,
You know, and Potter's probably got to go as well. But it is true that he I don't think any manager could get much of a tune out of that squad.
No. I agree with that. What I've got a problem with, a massive problem, especially when you look at our experience in the last three managers, all right? Because Moyes did what he did, but let's not forget it. He was here for 5 years. He spent $500 million and left us with the oldest and smallest squad for Lopetegui to pick up. So this started with Moyes' tenure. You know, he left us with a really kind of decrepit finished squad. Lopetegui comes in. He wastes money on players that he wants because they always want to go with players that they've had before because it's easy for them and pay more money for it. And you got the same with Potter, who's getting rid of things, getting rid of people like Xabi Valero, the goalkeeping coach, who's been here through 4 managers. He walked straight into Liverpool. He brings another bloke in, completely sort of reconstructed the backroom team. What I'm dead against is the fact that West Ham, I think we are one of the only clubs, certainly in the top flight, that do that now. It's a very old-fashioned way of running a football club because back in the day when the manager was God and they did everything, there weren't as much money in football. So you need to have, which is what you're pushing for, you need to have a CEO, there needs to be a director of football. And what I'm crying out for is the West Ham way, which is what I'm saying is an identity of playing football that will be there regardless of who's coaching that team. So if you look at Brighton, you know how Brighton play football. Regardless, they lose a manager, they'll go out and they'll get another one in that fits into that squad. I'm fed up of us either playing Moyes ball, Lopetegui ball, Potter ball, or wherever else comes in ball. That's not a West Ham identity. That's literally throwing all of our eggs in the managerial basket. And then if and when they fail, which they invariably do, managers, you know, they don't last long. 2 years is the average. Then you've got to start all over again, especially when you completely change direction like West Ham do every time. So for me, the model that you're pushing for is exactly right, and we need that anyway. We 100% need a director of football to come in and oversee all of this, and we just want the manager to coach the team.
Yeah,
that's what we need.
This is the fundamental thing: is we've lost. I always call it our heart and our soul, but we've lost our identity.
Yeah,
we've lost our identity, and all what we was about. You know, I mean, I know a lot of people have moved out, most people, but that East End working class tradition. Ideally, what we all want, obviously, we want a team with identity, but we want the club as a whole with an identity. For a fucking start, what's this West Ham London? We want West Ham United on the badge.
That's got to go straight away.
You know, and the history and the heritage, all this stuff that's supposedly been in storage for years. You know, I've said it before. You know, the World Cup winners, Hurst, Peters, Moore. Where's their medals? Oh, I know where they are actually. I'm not going to say, but you know, they're not on display.
They're not where they should be.
They're not on display.
No.
Yeah, so it's not just on the field. We need identity right through the club. And at the moment, there just isn't any. And that's why it isn't just results. That's why everyone's walking away. They hate the stadium as well. There's no identity. We don't feel like West Ham anymore.
No.
You know.
I mean, do you know what did feel like West Ham though? That protest the other day, and people,
Yeah.
honestly, it felt really good to me. It was it did feel like it felt like proper West Ham people.
Yeah.
You know, it was nice. I don't think, I really don't. I mean, we proved it in Prague, right? We've got a huge sleeping fan base,
Yeah.
massive,
Oh, yeah.
right? And our sleeping, but but we've got a big old fan base, and I do think if you remove the poison from this club at the top, which is the main point of resentment for the majority of fans that have walked away, which is off the back of that stadium, nothing else. They hate and they resent what he's done. I think if you remove that, we'll start to heal. And then hopefully, if we're lucky, because you can never know what type of owner you get in next, but if we do get someone that comes in that seems to just sort of put the fans first, and you get a bit of a connection with them, the team, the manager, we'll start to heal, Paul. I think we will. I think we'll start to get it back.
You know, everyone always says, and it's the truth, the fans would be here long after Sullivan.
Yeah.
Loads have walked away. A lot of my mates, you know, what would bring them back? Well, Sullivan and Brady out, and a lot would come back.
Yeah.
The stadium's a massive issue. You know, some still wouldn't come back to the stadium. If there was a relegation, they'd come back. So they'd see that as a challenge.
Yeah.
Obviously, we don't want a relegation, but yeah, it can be healed, and I think it will be healed. But the healing can't start until Sullivan's gone.
No.
And then we can look forward, in my view. But we need owners, not just that are going to have a few quid and spend it. We need owners that can have a bit of empathy with the fan base.
More so than ever with us, we do.
Forget me, right? Let's leave me out of it. There's plenty of other West Ham fans out there. We'll use Bill Gardner as an example.
Yeah.
That's the people that they should be talking to. How can we fix this? How can we get fans back? Not sitting around in their ivory tower, them round the board say, you know, get proper West Ham fans then, you know?
Yeah.
Young ones too. Let's hear what the young people want. And what was great Saturday, there was a lot of younger fans there.
There was.
But you're right, on the real big march we had, so many people said that was that was the best day over West Ham since they could remember. They felt like proper West Ham again.
Yeah.
And it was good, you know. There was people putting GSB out stickers on the old Bill's back and that, and the old Bill knew, you know.
Yeah.
It was a carnival atmosphere, and when we do it again, you know, we can't have no trouble or nothing as we've lost. It's got to be that same carnival atmosphere. I think we'll get 10,000, mate. Honest, I do.
Yeah.
You get a bit down. I mean, we was in the Carpenters, about 50 of us. And on the megaphone, I said, right, we're going in 10 minutes. Anyone want to come with us? I said, right, we're going now. I hope you come with us. If you don't, no hard feelings. We're all West Ham. And they give me a round of applause, and not one of them moved.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And they give me a round of applause. I don't know what that was about.
Yeah.
But, you know, we've still got to convince people. I think maybe a few of them thought it might kick off and that. And now, you know, people have seen what we already knew. It would be peaceful. They even see us clearing the bloody litter up afterwards.
People had their, like you said, people had their kids with them. It was a really, really good atmosphere, and it'll be the same again. And like I said, I kind of implore everyone to do you know what, to experience it, because it just you know, it is a historic day, or this could be when they eventually leave for West Ham, because make no bones about it, you know, if they don't go, there won't be much of West Ham left. So it's a bit of a last chance saloon for us to sort of get these out and try and get,
like I said
get this club back.
I've been thinking about what Sullivan might do.
Yeah.
And it's all speculation. I've not heard nothing, but I've been putting myself in his position.
Yeah.
Because there's no doubt his cracks appearing. And, you know, one scenario, and it would maybe be a smart card to play. He's going to sack Potter, we know that. Yeah. But that ain't going to stop anyone protesting. We're not protesting about the manager. I think a smart move might be to get rid of Brady.
Mm-hmm.
And let's be clear, if Brady was to go, it would go. She ain't going to go unless there's a lot of spin on it. So she ain't going to look bad.
Well, she'll be quitting. She'll be walking away, resigning.
But I think there's a good chance of that. Now Sullivan might think, if I do that, it'll get them off me back. Now, this is only a personal opinion, right? Firstly, from Manchester United's point of view, I can't talk for anyone else. That'd be a great victory. That would be a great victory, getting rid of Brady, and I would be delighted.
Yeah.
But from the protest point of view, if he got rid of Brady and he got in a full-time professional CEO and a director of football, would that be enough? I don't know. And my members.
Does that go some way to appeasing what you've requested? So if Sullivan steps back from transfers and he gets people in that are well respected within football and have got the full mandate and full autonomy on running the club, at that point, do you step back? But for me, I don't think he would ever do it, Paul, because he's an egomaniac, and I think if he's not in control and he isn't seen to be, I think he wants to be seen to be in control. You saw that at the end of this transfer window. Sullivan's going to save the day. I'm going to do it. I'm going to go out and get these players. I just don't think he's got it in him, because I think it's about more than money for him. I think he just it's like it's a status thing.
Trip, isn't it?
It's an ego trip.
That would be a risky card for him to play, but he could play that card, get rid of Brady.
Yeah.
But it could well backfire that he gets rid of Brady and everyone still protests. Now, there's another thing I thought maybe. There's another thing he might do. He could hand over control to Jack. Yeah. And Jack appoints the CEO and the director of football.
That's not good. That's not good enough for me.
Would that? Yeah, this is what I'm saying. And for me, I have to go to my members.
Yeah,
that's a possibility.
Yeah,
but I think the smart. Don't know about the smart thing, but he might think it's the smart thing. He's got to do something, and I think Brady would go. And even though that's not what we want as such, it would still be a great victory.
it's halfway towards what we want.
Yeah. But I've got no inside information. I have got no in the nose and all this bollocks. But I've just been thinking, trying to put myself in his position, what he can do, what cards can he play? And he hasn't got many cards he can play, really.
No.
So that wouldn't surprise me, mate.
And
listen, from Brady's, sorry to butt in, Nick.
Go on.
From Brady's point of view, she's not going to want to be associated with all this shit.
No, well,
it must be really bad for her image.
It's no good. It's no good for her reputation to be dragged through the mud. I mean, she does her other bits and pieces, didn't she, on The Apprentice?
Yeah.
I think that's the extent of her career, is a part-time role, a highly paid part-time role at West Ham, and making TV appearances on The Apprentice. So it's all about public image with Brady, and
she's always in the House of Lords as well.
Yeah.
See,
this is another reason why I don't think she's going to go anywhere until Sullivan does. I think they'll go as a pair. Sullivan needs, whether they're getting on or there's friction there or not, that we know the background. Let's just say I think they've probably got each other's backs for certain reasons, and I feel like Sullivan releasing Brady probably isn't something he can do. You know, I'm not saying she's got a copy of his hard drive or anything.
How about if he released her though with spin, that she sort of goes out as a hero? You know, she's done this.
Well, that's exactly how it would be. It wouldn't be Brady sacked.
That's how it would
be. Brady resigns. Yeah.
Well, I'll put my cards on the table, and I know nothing.
Yeah,
that's my bet.
Well, look, that would be halfway. That would be halfway, and it would be, and you'd be on the verge. And if we were to get someone, what would excite me really would be if they went and got the CEO that we was rumoured to be getting, which was Amanda Staveley, who went and sort of engineered the Newcastle takeover. Yeah. You know, once Staveley appears, something's happening at that point. Yeah. She's only going into that place if there's. It's almost like she's getting a club ready for a takeover of some description. So I think it's going to be very interesting. It's very sad as well as I found, because obviously we run a football channel, and to be honest, the football is secondary now. It's almost like you just don't care anymore. And do you know, I did. You probably haven't had this, you know, but I'm going to hold my hands up. I'm always honest. One thing that I resent this board for more than anything else, because I've never had it since I've been supporting West Ham. I've had at least 3 occasions throughout the last 3 managers' reigns where I've been sat there hoping that my team lose so that we can get a quick escape out of the misery that we're currently in. They drove a fan who's fanatical about the club into a position where you're almost, please God, I hope we lose this, just so we can just get out of this. And I can't stand them for doing that. And that is what they do. They run things into the ground, so it's so obviously wrong, and they leave things until the last minute, until the fan base is desperate. They're not proactive, but they're not even reactive. You know, it's almost like they react when it's too late.
Listen, I agree. I get exactly where you're coming from. Now, I used to go back in the day every game, home
Yeah.
and away, for a long, long while. I don't anymore. Still go some away games, and to my
Yeah.
credit, I'm always on the manor for home games. I just won't go in the stadium. But on the very odd occasion when I used to watch West Ham on the telly somewhere, down the local club, we scored once, and I leapt up. I didn't mean to do it. I was so happy. I leapt
Yeah.
up and I punched the light off the ceiling.
Yeah.
It's all in bits on the floor. Great big thing, right? If I'm in a pub now and West Ham score, I barely clap.
No.
You
They've
know.
sucked the
And when we
emotion
used,
out of you.
yeah, and when we used to lose, you know, I was miserable till about Monday,
Yeah.
and I ain't that bothered anymore. Anyway, I've said this before. We went every August. Good mate of mine, Ginger Bryan, lives in Romford. He has a barbecue. I won't mention names, but there's a lot of well-known faces go to this
Yeah.
barbecue. It's a bit of a social event of the year now, actually. It's, you know, we all stay over and that, take our wives and girlfriends. And of course, West Ham Sunderland was on his Sky Stick, whatever you call the thing. And no one watched it. No one cared. And these are blokes that went every game forever, you know.
Yeah.
And I sort of went in to watch it, and I didn't put my glasses on. I weren't watching it properly. You get what I mean, you know.
Yeah.
And I went out the back, and no one was bothered. And a couple of them actually said, "I hope we get relegated." And
That's,
these are people that were
I've
real.
said it. I've said
Guys.
the same thing.
Yeah, yeah.
But
It's
that's called
heartbreaking.
that's called apathy, and that's the
Yeah,
worst emotion to have set in widespread in the fan base. When, and I get the same feeling now. So what you just described, the elation when you score, and the being angry at a loss, and it kind of
yeah,
affecting your working week sometimes. Not just a day. That was pretty much me. Now I'm pretty emotionless throughout a game now. What happens is with me, I get angry after the event. I sit there and I ponder on it, and I'll get angry with it, and then what I'll do is I'll have a vent, and then I'll feel all right again. But what used to happen to me, like what you said, if we lost, like it goes back to when I was at school, it ruined my week. It ruined me week. You just you can't let it go. But it's just changed now, and that's what I hope I
the
get
other
back.
thing is,
I'd like to get that feeling back again. To be honest, that kind
yeah,
of
the
obsession
other
that I
thing
had
is,
before.
and you'd have done it, I've hitchhiked to some right. Oh, I hitchhiked to Old Trafford when no one even used to go there.
Yeah,
It was risky. Places like Coventry, I hitchhiked about 4 times. And we've slept on motorway service stations and all the rest of it. And when we've got a train, if we could afford the train, you don't go, you go straight to work. Anyway, I don't. Where I do miss home games is the night games, and I'm not
yeah,
frightened of the dark or nothing, but I don't live around the corner. I just can't be asked. Remember, I don't go in.
yeah,
So when we had one of them big European games, the one that went to extra time, me and my pal Barry again used to go every single game, 40, 41, 42 league games every year.
yeah,
We went down the pub, not our local or anything where we knew everyone. We just went down the pub in the town centre. So it's this West Ham bloke there and his bird, and we've all got all the gear on. They'd be about 20, 22 years old, extra time. So I run up the bar to get 2 pints each, so we wouldn't miss any time, up the bar. And they was going out. And I said, "What, you're going out for a fag? Nerves? Ha, ha, ha." He said, "No, we're
yeah.
going home. I've got to get up for work in the morning."
Oh,
This is a massive European game, extra
yeah,
time. He can walk home, right?
yeah.
And this was, and I didn't know what to say.
I
And I
know.
thought, and he's got all the
That's
gear
bad,
on.
isn't it? Yeah,
And I felt like punching him,
yeah,
really.
yeah, yeah,
I didn't know what to say. And you know, what we used to do to go and see West Ham, but he had to go home because he had to get up early for work.
yeah.
Unbelievable.
It's all changed. But again, I do think that obsession will creep back into it. It's that
I hope so, yeah.
that sleeping support is still there. It's still within us all. It is, like I said, if you go back to Prague, we was all going nuts that night. All of us, we was all
Yeah,
proud.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
we were. It comes out of you again. So I do think we'll get there.
I
As soon
agree.
as as soon as Sullivan and Brady go,
Once he's gone and she's gone, we can start rebuilding this club.
we can heal. Absolutely. Right, now going
I
back
mean,
to your video. Go on, mate. Sorry.
my son won't go over there, but he's promised he'll come on the march.
Oh,
Uh,
good.
and I think there'd be a lot of people feel the same way.
Yeah, good. Well, talking about the march, obviously you went on Hammer's chat yesterday with Gio, and you gave quite the rallying cry. It was good. You got me all motivated.
I
You've
got a bit excited. Yeah.
Yeah, and you've had a bit of a response. I hear you was telling me from people that have been
Yeah, I
contacting you.
mean, look, it's pleasing. I mean, because of course I mentioned a few individuals, I forgot a few, but I got a bollocking. Hackett rang me up. He said, "I don't live in Poxy Lincoln. I live in Nottingham, but I booked the train anyway. You toe rag."
It's all
And
up north.
Liam rang me mate Dave up, and he said, "You know, there'd be more of us than usual coming from Yarmouth. It'd be a minimum of a minibus."
Yeah,
And my mate Dave, he's sort of Mr. Welling Garden City. Everyone knows him in Welling Garden. And as I say, it was me, Dave, and Barry went Saturday, and he says, "I'll get 20 from Welling
yeah,
Garden."
that's
And I
good.
think that's going to happen all over the country. Of course, where we got to crack it is, you know, Canning Town, Plaster, places like that. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah.
we need all the locals out. But I think it's going to be massive numbers, but it's got to be peaceful.
Mm.
It's going to take a lot of organising. We're meeting the police tomorrow, and it won't be easy actually. But you know, we know what the fans want, and we do our best to deliver. But it won't be easy because it's such a big thing. You know,
It's not
we're going to march.
it's not easy, mate. Doing what you're doing. Like I said, I know myself with what I do, sort of dealing with police, with events. You know,
Yeah.
counter terrorism. Sometimes you have to sit down with, and everything else. It's not easy, and they're not. They'll put a lot of blockers in the way. They will.
Yeah. Well, we'll do our best. I've got some good people coming down there with me, and
Yeah,
as you heard, I thought it was a smart move. I've asked Dan to come from the West Ham. I thought it was a good move to get someone who weren't from Hammers United there as well, from
yeah.
a different angle. So hopefully we'll sort something out that'll be, you know, the fans would be pleased with.
Absolutely, absolutely. And moving on to the petition, Paul. So obviously,
Yeah,
what the plan is to we're still you're still figuring out how we're going to present the petition to them at the gate. But
yeah.
the plan is to march the petition up to the gate, isn't it?
That is the plan. It gives the petition a boost, and it gives the march a focal point.
Yeah,
I know we've said it so much, but there's so many people think they've signed and haven't. I
yeah,
guarantee you that. You've got to click on. I saw on the spiel after Gio's thing last night. One bloke said, "I've tried about 30 times to sign it, and I just can't crack it."
yeah,
Uh, I don't think I've signed it, and I've tried a couple of times. I'll try again. There's some people like me, are like Mr. Magoo with computers and that, and they just can't suss it out. Others, you're in the pub with these youngsters, and they say, "Yeah, I'll sign it," bosh, and it's done.
yeah.
But you know, but
It's not the easiest platform. The main reason being is because it tries to trick you into giving it money every two
yeah,
minutes.
that's right. That
So
puts people off.
yeah,
Yeah,
you click on the link, you put your email address in, and then you've got an option to sort of share it and stuff like that, which you're better off, which you're doing. You know, you don't have to pay, and it's change.org. It's the application. It's nothing to do with us. So
bullshit.
you just skip through, ignore all the where it keeps on asking for money. The most important thing is once you've signed it, it will
That's
send
right.
you an email, and that vote will not be counted until you go into your email and you click the link to say
And that
that's when your vote gets counted.
email often goes to junk.
Yeah, and it's from change.org, the email. So just double check, do a search in if you think you've signed it before, just search in your junk or your inbox or whatever else. If you see the email in there, click on it, validate it, and then you'll be on there. And yeah, I think
It's
by the
about
time
14,500. You know, you've done really well because you've done it off your own back, and I especially commend you for saying it's West Ham fans. You know,
yes, yeah. Well, that was
not
always
giving
the
it.
plan. That was always the
Yeah,
plan.
that's
Yeah,
the only way we can succeed. But
yeah,
let's try and get it to 20,000, a nice round figure that
yeah,
we can take to the gates. A petition with 20,000. I've got some good ideas, as you know, of how to present that, but I want to sort of, you know, let's give people a good surprise, you know.
Yeah.
No, I won't say no more than that. I don't want to start giving the game away, but
Yeah.
we've got some good ideas to go with the march that that jazz it up a bit. You know,
Yeah.
it should be really really great day.
We're gonna have so many signatures. We'll be able to wrap Sullivan's roller up in it. We'll just wrap it up
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
in the petition. But yeah,
Yeah,
no.
I've
So
had some. Sorry to butt in.
go
There's
on.
going to be some things happening. I think if people are true to their word, there's some people got some very innovative ideas about doing sort of solo protests and stuff
Yeah,
like that. And I've had to
yeah,
suggest to a couple of them that maybe that ain't a good idea. Um,
right.
it could, you've got to think of the possible repercussions.
Yes,
Um, I mean, what I did, I knew what was going to happen, but it cost me £1,000. But some of the things that some of these guys have got in mind would cost them a lot more than that.
yeah.
So I'll say no more. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, the thing is, the longer this goes on, the more desperate people will get, the more frustrated
yeah,
people will get as well. Like if we do this, we do the march against Burnley. You know, it's if they don't act and they don't do anything, and we feel like we're not getting anywhere, which I don't think will be the case. I think we are literally getting somewhere with them
yeah.
now.
I think
Put
so.
it put it this way, I'm pretty certain. I think Potter would have been sacked by now, and we would have had Sean Dyche in. That's what would have happened if not for these
Yeah, yeah,
protests. They would have done what they normally do. They'd have sacked him, used him as a sacrificial lamb, and gone out and got another one of their mates in, a cheap freebie. But
yeah.
because of
And
the unrest, I don't think they can at the moment.
no, I mean, look at that statement put out in absolute desperation,
Yeah,
and it just doesn't even. Look, if we get 10,000, which we will, everyone's going to enjoy it. It'll go off well, and everyone will say, "I want to be part of the next one, if there is a next one."
yeah,
And then all the people are going to hear about it that don't come and read about it. And if he's still here, well, in 6 weeks after that, we'll get 15,000.
exactly.
And then if he's still there, we'll get 20,000. And
Yep.
that's how it's got to be. It will just grow and grow and grow. And you know, if it the more it carries on, people are going to say, "I've got to be there." You know, I can't miss this. You
Yeah.
know, fuck taking the missus on holiday. I'm coming over from Spain because I've got to be on the next march. You know,
Yeah.
it really grow,
Yeah, no,
really grow.
I think it will. It's a positive movement, and that's how it felt when we was there. Like
Yeah,
I did say that. I mentioned that before the protest. I said when you look on social media and it didn't feel angry. It didn't. It felt like a positive movement. It feels positive what we're doing because we're absolutely doing it that we know 100% for the right reasons. We couldn't be doing this for a better reason. You know, we're literally trying to save the club from dying. Is what we're trying to do, and yeah, it's brilliant. I just wanted to say, Paul, really good work to you and all the guys as well. I know it's
yeah.
not
Look,
easy. I know it's not easy what you're
thanks very
doing.
much. It is hard. I mean, frankly, I can do without giving a whole day up tomorrow. Um, but there's plenty of others helping. You know,
Yeah,
there's certain names get the accolades, but there's a lot of other people helping out. You know, it's a fan wide movement,
yeah,
and that's the only way we can succeed. You know.
absolutely, absolutely. And I think on that note, Paul, I think we'll wrap it up.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for having me, and onwards and upwards, and no more BS.
No more BS. Sign that
No more
petition.
BS.
Speak to you all soon.
Sign that
Come on, you
petition.
irons.
All right. Cheers, Nick. Thanks a lot, mate.